What we need is not more medications, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. This is Exposé coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria, every Monday on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook simultaneously. And I'm your regular host, Akinyemi. Don't forget, what we need is not more medication, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. It's a great day today. I'm happy to be here with you on Exposé, brought to you by the Shepherd's Flock International Church. I'm your regular host, Akinyemi. What we need is not more medication, but more education. And the best prescription is knowledge. I continue in the series that I've started for several weeks before now on DATIISS, the cause of disease. DATIISS, the cause of disease. We have looked at D, deficiency. We have looked at A, abuses. We have looked at T, toxicity. We have looked at the first I, injury. And we have looked at the second I, infections. Now I want to continue with infections today. And if time permits, we might be able to get into the last two alphabets, S1 and S2. That's sedentary living and stress. So today we are continuing with infections. Again, let me clarify. I made mention of infections and infestations. People can get infected out with pathogens or disease-causing germs or microorganisms, infectious agents, whether communicable or non-communicable, highly transmissible or not highly transmissible. And the infections could be viral infections, bacterial infections, or fungal or yeast infections. Depending on the type of infection, that determines the type of protocol to be deployed to address it. But the most important factor to note is how to prevent infections in the first place. And one of the key allies for addressing prevention or treatment of infection is our immune system. We need to understand the workings of our immune system. We need to understand how our immune system fights infections and overcomes infections, or infections are able to overcome the immune system. So understanding your immune system is very key. Again, I've done some videos on that. You can check our YouTube channel, Official TSF Church on YouTube, and it will come out. You can watch it on how to bolster your immune system. Okay, so when your immunity is strong, then infections are no longer a serious threat to you. That's the first strategy. Second strategy is to avoid exposure to infectious agents. The fact that your immune system is strong does not mean you should take chances by unnecessarily exposing yourself to infectious agents. If you can avoid a fight, why not avoid it altogether because you can never determine who wins at the end of the day. You might think your immune system will win, something might happen and your immune system may lose, and then your life may go for it, God forbid. So avoid unnecessary exposure to infectious agents. Then we talked about parasites, infestation with parasites, pinworms, ringworms, like ascaris and tapeworms and things like that. Okay, now we have also talked about parasite cleanse. Okay, now I want to bring another type of infectious agent that has wreaked a lot of havoc to people's health and they didn't even realize it. And usually this particular type is very, very difficult even for most doctors to figure out, to diagnose, or even when they diagnose it, to treat it. And that is called mold. Okay, the UK English, we spell it as M-O-U-L-D. American English is M-O-L-D, mold. Now, mold is a kind of infectious agent, usually when you have damp regions in your house, maybe in your bathroom, maybe in your kitchen, maybe in your basement. You see some corners on top of the building or on the wall or on the ceiling that is very damp, soaked with water and with high humidity. Then you see some brownish, darkish patches around those areas. That is mold. And they generate pores, P-O-R-E-S. that can float in the air, and you can inhale it into your system. And when it gets into your body and it takes root in your body, it generates very poisonous toxins that can cause problems for your liver, for your immune system, and for so many things, okay? So you need to understand the problem of mold, and you need to know how to deal with it. So I want to spend a little time today to talk to you about mold, okay, and how to address mold before we now go ahead and deal with other aspects of infections. Don't go away. I'll be back in a short while, and we will continue this conversation.
My name is Olanike Aladeshuyi, a graduate of Rafa Institute of Healthy Living, a school run by Reverend Tony Akinyemi, where we are taught how to take care of our health using basic healthy living principles. My coming into contact with the school has changed my life for the better. Prior to that time, I had been diagnosed of arthritis. I had pains all over me. I had difficulty in breathing. But since I decided to take the principles taught in the school seriously and I followed them, I discovered that my health has improved. I am free of pain. My breathing has stabilized to such an extent that I can run a gym. Can you beat that? So, I want to invite you. Come, join us at Rafa Institute of Healthy Living. Let's learn together how to reverse supposedly irreversible diseases using nutrition and lifestyle. All are basic principles. Your life will not remain the same again.
We are dealing with DATIISS, the cause of disease, deficiencies, abuses, toxicity, injury, and infections. We will deal with sedentary living and stress later. We're still on infections. Last week, I started this conversation on infections. We dealt with infestations with parasites. We dealt with infections with fungi or yeast, bacteria, or viruses. Now, today we are looking at another type of infectious agent that causes very, very serious problems that are difficult sometimes to figure out, and it is called mold. Mold and mycotoxin, mycotoxin, mycotoxin. That's the toxins that mold generates, and it can make us sick and cause problems. You won't know what exactly is wrong. You take antibiotics, you take this, you take that, you take all kinds of treatments, it doesn't work when you have mold exposure or exposure to mold. Now, I'm going to give you my mold treatment plan. I have a mold protocol that I have developed based on my study of the impact of mold on our health and how to bounce back when we have mold or mold infection or mycotoxicity in our system. Now, it's divided into phases, phase 1 and phase 2. PHASE, phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is usually 4 weeks, and phase 2 will last for 90 to 180 days, or 3 months to 6 months. So I told you in the last episode that yeast infection is usually very stubborn and requires a lot of patience and a lot of time. When it comes to mold, wow, you need more than patience. You need long suffering to be able to address it, because you can't go halfway and come out of it. You have to deal with it headlong and get out of it. And I have developed, a 4 to 7 month plan, 4 to 7 months to deal with mold. I call it my mold treatment protocol. Now, so let's take the first month or the first 4 weeks. What do? Okay, the first one is to take supplements like caprylic acid and olive leaf extract. I recommend caprylic acid and olive leaf extract, particularly for yeast infections, fungal infections. They work very well. The same olive plant where you get your olive oil from. The leaf is also very medicinal. So there's an extract of the leaf, olive leaf extract. You can combine it with a kind of fatty acid called caprylic acid, and it helps in dealing with yeast infection, fungal infection, mold infection. Number 2 is you need a proteolytic enzyme. A proteolytic enzyme is a protein digesting enzyme like serapeptase or serazymes or seraflazymes or bromelain or papain. All of these are enzymes, protein digesting enzymes, and they help in addressing mold infections and mold toxicity. Then there is a herb known as Gymnema sylvester. Actually, it's a herb. It helps with people who have diabetes as well, but it's also very good in dealing with mold. And then you do weekly colonic irrigation, and then you use this herb called Artemisia annua, or wormwood. A combination of all of this with some probiotics. That is phase 1, and you do that for 4 weeks. Colonic irrigation once a week at least, and then you take your wormwood, and then you take your Gymnema sylvester herb, then a proteolytic enzyme, the caprylic acid, and olive leaf extract. All of that for 4 weeks in phase 1. Of course, while you are doing that, you need to probably relocate from the environment of mold, the moldy environment. You need to probably relocate, or you bring experts to come into that building and do mold, treatment for that building to get rid of mold in the environment completely. Then once you complete phase 1, then you move to phase 2. This one is going to last for 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months. That's 13 weeks to 26 weeks, okay? That is phase 2. And all things being equal, if you follow through, you're likely going to beat your mold problem. What do you do during phase 2? You do liver gallbladder cleanse. I have a particular product that I normally recommend. It's called Hydrozone Liver Gallbladder Cleanse Kit. It's available online, and you can order and use it. Or at home, you can prepare your own home recipe for liver gallbladder cleanse. You can get a full glass of freshly squeezed orange juice. Don't use orange juice in a carton from the supermarket. No. You buy your own orange, you wash it, you cut it, and squeeze the orange juice. Or you can buy a citrus juicer to help you juice your orange juice. So freshly squeezed orange juice, a full glass of it, pour it into your blender. Then get 1 lemon or lime, cut it into 2, and squeeze the juice of the lemon or lime into that blender to mix with the orange juice. Then you add 4 tablespoonfuls of extra virgin olive oil. Then you add 4 peeled cloves of garlic. You break the bulb of garlic into pieces, and you pick 4. You remove the skin, peel it, and then drop the 4 cloves of garlic into the blender as well, in the orange juice, lemon juice, olive oil. And then you get a sizable ginger, and then cut it into small pieces, put it inside the blender as well. Blend everything together. If you like, you can sieve it. If you like, you may not sieve it. It's not important. Then you drink that. That is your gallbladder liver cleanse juice. Then 15 minutes after you drink that, you now drink 1 or 2 cups of peppermint tea. There is peppermint tea. It's in tea bags like Lipton tea. Okay? Peppermint leaf is what they use to make the tea. So you put the tea bag in your teacup, you put hot water, no sugar, no milk. 15 minutes after drinking your concoction, made from orange juice, lemon juice, ginger, garlic, olive oil, you drink it. 15 minutes later, you now drink the peppermint tea. That helps to dilate your bile duct and empty the content of your gallbladder and your liver. So if there are gallbladder stones, all of them will be emptied into your digestive tract. So without pain, without stress, that's how to empty your gallbladder of gallstones. So that is what you do when you start phase 2 of this mold treatment protocol. You do liver gallbladder cleanse on a daily basis if you are doing the home recipe. But if you are using the Hydrozone liver gallbladder cleanse, there is the guideline is included in the package. Just follow the guideline in the package. Then you continue your olive leaf extract and caprylic acid supplements. Then you begin to take activated charcoal now. You take activated charcoal 1 hour after you take your other supplements. Then you do weekly coffee enema. You can go again on YouTube and learn how to do coffee enema. I tell people jokingly that coffee enema is drinking your coffee from your anus. Instead of drinking it with your mouth, you drink it with the anus. You pass it into the anus, you hold it for as long as you can, and then you poo-poo it out. That's coffee enema. It helps to stimulate peristaltic movement and stimulate your liver to be cleansed and to be detoxed. Then you can do weekly IV nutrition. What do I mean by IV nutrition? Intravenous nutrition, vitamin nutrition, particularly vitamin C, glutathione, and some chelating agents like EDTA. You need experts and professionals to get that done for you, of course. That is part of your mold treatment protocol. And then, of course, ozone therapy, 1 to 2 times a week during the 3 to 6 month period. We also help to clear mold from your system. So if you have access to where you can get some ozone therapy, medical ozone can be passed directly into your vein. You know, there are machines that will generate the ozone gas into this injection thing, and they can put it right into your vein and press it in there. You can do anal insufflation, can do ear insufflation, and women can also do V insufflation. All right, you know what V means there. I don't want to pronounce the whole word here. Right, so ozone therapy 1 to 2 times a week during the 3 to 6 month period is very good in helping to deal with mold. Then there are other things you also need to do during that period. You can get charcoal soap and use that for bathing, charcoal soap. Okay, you can also use coconut oil or tea tree oil, essential oil, as your body cream during the period, because mold can also be on the skin and you want to get rid of all of that from your skin. And number 3 is to, I cannot emphasize this too much, stay in a mold-free environment. You can't be removing mold from your system and still be living in an environment where mold is present and it continues to get into your system. So you stay in a mold-free environment, either by relocating or by getting rid of mold in your house. If you find patches around your house that is moldy, okay, bring in experts, let them come, let them, clean it up, let them repaint and sort out any leakages, pipe leakages, water leakages, and get everywhere sorted so that your environment is free of mold. Again, don't go away. I'll be back to conclude this protocol on mold treatment. God bless you.
My name is Olanike Aladeshuyi, a graduate of Rafa Institute of Healthy Living, a school run by Reverend Tony Akinyemi, where we are taught how to take care of our health using basic healthy living principles. My coming into contact with the school has changed my life for the better. Prior to that time, I had been diagnosed of arthritis. I had pains all over me. I had difficulty in breathing. But since I decided to take the principles taught in the school seriously and I followed them, I discovered that my health has improved. I am free of pain. My breathing has stabilized to such an extent that I can run a gym. Can you beat that? So, I want to invite you. Come, join us at Rafa Institute of Healthy Living. Let's learn together how to reverse supposedly irreversible diseases using nutrition and lifestyle. All are basic principles. Your life will not remain the same again.
Welcome back to Exposé, brought to you by the Shepherd's Flock International Church. I am your regular host, Tony Akinyemi. We are dealing with DATIISS, the cause of disease, and today we are focusing on the aspect of infections. We have looked at infestations, infections, and now I'm talking about mold infections in particular, which is a very trickish one. Many people have been suffering for years without realizing that their problem is mold related. And I have developed a protocol for mold treatment, a natural protocol, and that's what I'm sharing with you right now. So the other things you do during phase 2 of your mold treatment protocol is to make sure you stay in a mold-free environment, and then you can do weekly Epsom salt bath. If you have a bathtub in your bathroom, you fill your bathtub with lukewarm water, and then you put Epsom salt inside that water to dissolve. Then you soak your entire body, maybe for 20 minutes, only your head is out. You can even use your hand to splash water on your head, on your face, and then you stay there for 20 minutes or thereabout. That's Epsom salt bath. Very, very important as part of the combo. in helping to deal with mold. And then the next very important thing you do when you are dealing with mold is what I call the mold diet. The mold diet. And that's very, very important. I'll talk about that later. But then what you do during your mold treatment protocol is that everything you are doing must be done in tandem. They must be done as a collaborative protocol. You don't just do one without doing the others for a week, and then next week you do 2 or 3 without. You have to do all of them simultaneously. That's how to get good results. So now let's come to the mold diet. While you are doing this protocol, you have to avoid grains during your mold treatment. Grains in particular, wheat, barley, oats, rye, corn, even rice, sorghum, and so on. You have to avoid them. I recommend also during the treatment protocol to avoid meat and milk that have been, obtained from animals fed with grains. You may not be eating the grains, but animals that have been fed with grains, because grains have a penchant for developing mold, becoming moldy. That's why, old granite, roasted granite that has been sitting in the bottle for months on the supermarket shelf is a very, very risky business, for anybody to eat. When roasted granite has been in the bottle for 6 months, 7 months, quite often in this part of the world, they put a 1-year shelf life on those granite bottles. So if it was produced in March 2021, they will put expiry date as March 2022. And then you buy it in December 2021. That bottle of granite has been sitting on the supermarket shelf for 8 to 9 months. Some of them may have developed. In fact, I can guarantee that if granite has been sitting in the bottle for 9 months, 100% of the time, they will have developed mold. You may not see it physically, but sometimes when you taste it, you can perceive that the taste is a little bit different. But then you eat it with the mold, you are re-intoxicating your body, inoculating your body again with mold. And the process will not work. So you have to avoid grains in particular, because grains have a propensity to develop mold, particularly peanuts, granules, and what have you. And then animals that have been fed with grains may have mold in their milk, mold in their meat. And so when you eat animal products, meat products, milk products from grain-fed animals, not grass-fed animals, they're grain-fed animals, then you continue to complicate matters for yourself. You have to finish your mold treatment protocol before you can begin to eat some of those things again. Then avoid dried fruits, conventional coffee, wine, beer, soft drinks, sugar while you are on that treatment. In fact, I believe you should avoid those things for life. Alcohol, sugar, soft drinks, and what have you. And then vegetables now. Aim to eat at least 3 to 4 servings of non-starchy vegetables during the treatment per day. All right? Good. Now, particularly cruciferous vegetables. What are cruciferous vegetables? These contain phytochemicals that help to up-regulate your NRF2 pathway in your body, anti-inflammatory signaling pathway that produces, a lot of inflammation in your body. Now, the cruciferous vegetables will help your body to generate a lot of glutathione that helps in dealing with this. So eat some beta vegetables like arugula, like watercress, like dandelion leaves, like bitter leaf. All of these are very good during a mold treatment protocol. Cruciferous vegetables include cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale. All of these are cruciferous vegetables. They are particularly very useful when you are dealing with mold. Then starchy vegetables such as sweet potato, winter squash, fruits such as berries and apples are generally well tolerated during this particular treatment period. Then you need a lot of probiotics as well. Probiotics, particularly lactobacillus. Okay, very important during the treatment of mold in your system. Then add at least 1 serving of fermented food every day. I've talked about fermented food in the past, sauerkraut, kimchi, fermented coconut milk, fermented almond milk, fermented yogurt, all of those. Yogurt, they are all rich in probiotics, or you can just get pure probiotic capsules. Probiotics food include, green banana flour, onions, garlic, tiger nuts. All of these are very, very wonderful. They serve as prebiotics to feed your probiotics. Then you need some antifungal food when you're on this protocol. Try to include the following in your diet: coconut oil, extra virgin coconut oil. Add 1 or 2 tablespoonfuls to your smoothie. Use it as your salad dressing. Garlic is also very important. Blend it into your smoothie or use it in various other ways. And then basil, oregano, thyme. These are all very good spices to use during your anti-mold treatment or diet. Then Ceylon cinnamon is also very wonderful. Turmeric has very wonderful anti-inflammatory agent. And then raw honey, particularly Manuka honey. This also helps. And then you need some neuroprotective food, because one of the things that mold does is to impact on our nerves, and it can cause tingling sensations, numbness, and all kinds of neurological derangement. And so you need some neuroprotective foods that are rich in essential fatty acid, omega-3, like DHA in particular. It's a unique form of omega-3 fatty acid. DHA readily crosses the blood-brain barrier, and it supports neurological health, cognitive function, and what have you. So you need to indulge in food that are rich in DHA. It's a neuroprotective omega-3 fatty acid. Then B complex, vitamin B complex, is also neuroprotective. So B12, B6, folic acid, and what have you. And finally, there is a phytochemical in some cruciferous vegetables that is known as sulforaphane. You find sulforaphane in particularly white-colored cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower. Cauliflower is high in sulforaphane. And other cruciferous vegetables contain some polyphenols, such as blueberries and various other berries that can help to support your health and reduce inflammation during that period. Once you're able to deal with infectious agents and parasites, fungi, bacteria, viruses, parasites, and particularly mold, then you're on your way to robust health, because these are things that decimate the body, weaken the body, wreak havoc in the body. I've shown you a protocol that you can follow. If you need me to send the full plan to you, you can send me an email. I'll be very glad to send it to you free of charge. Thank you for your time with me today on Exposé. Don't forget, what we need is not more medication, but more education. And the best prescription is knowledge. God bless you.